Namaste. Welcome to yet another edition of Leadership Through Communication. Communication is a skill that everybody wants to learn and is a way to being great leaders. Toastmasters International and the clubs across 143 countries hone this exact skill of communication so that you can become better leaders. Today, we have with us two eminent businessmen and banker to talk about how Toastmasters has helped them build the skill of communication so that they could become better leaders and better at their jobs too. Let's talk to our two guests for today. Welcome to the show, Toastmaster Pankaj and Toastmaster Avish. Toastmaster Pankaj is the director of Four Seasons Tour and Travels, and Toastmaster Avish is manager finance and treasury at Lakshmi Bank Limited. Welcome to the show. So Toastmaster Pankaj, as an entrepreneur in tourism sector, how did you get into Toastmasters?
Thank you, Toastmaster Moon. How did I get into Toastmaster takes me back to 2008 when I came to know about Everest Toastmaster. Though it was barely 400 meters away from my office, but I didn't know it existed until someone told me. And when I went to attend the meeting, that day it gave me a big wake-up call. I thought I knew how to speak, I thought I was confident enough, and I thought I knew how to communicate to my clients. But the day when I attended Everest Toastmaster, I realized that I had a huge room for improvement, and that kept me going back to attend few more meetings as a guest, and I could not stop applying to be a member.
So someone introduced you to Toastmasters, specifically Everest Toastmasters.
That's right.
You learned about your own need to hone the skill of communication. How does that really help in your work as a tourism entrepreneur?
It made a profound impact in the way I did my business. Since I'm in tourism business and as an inbound tour operator, the presentation is part and parcel of our business or day-to-day lives in tourism business. When we meet people, we should be telling them stories. And when we go out for marketing of the destination, if we just tell them, come to Nepal, we have 8 mountains above 8,000 meters, or if we just tell them that this is the land where Buddha was born, it's not going to make any impact until and unless we tell them captivating stories, people who came here as a trekker and went back as a philosopher, or many stories that we have come across, simple to very inspiring stories, and we tell that stories. And my practice in this Toastmaster format has enabled me, that's what I personally have noticed, it has made me a little more comfortable and confident in whatever I said. So I said with conviction, and it kind of glued me to this learning. I realized that this is awesome experience to learn, and it's not only about public speaking, it is also you can talk to one-on-one and still be mindful of those basics of effective communication.
So you can say, or we can say, that your joining Toastmasters has also helped in bringing in more tourists to the country and maybe even contributed towards Visit Nepal 2020?
Well, I have to admit, had I not joined Toastmasters, then perhaps I would not have become as effective as I am today, especially in the area of accessible tourism. Here, let me allow you to highlight that. My ability to speak impromptu has helped me to pitch for a totally new idea in tourism, which was not known until 2014. If you ask me how, in one of my trips to US, I met a man who was one of the leading person or advocate of accessible tourism. What I didn't know what it was for people with disabilities. And when I met him, he was on a wheelchair, very confident, very well traveled. And I could not stop asking him, may I invite you to Nepal? Or why don't you visit Nepal? And Four Seasons sponsored that gentleman. He came here after 8 months. And we did a round of activities, talks to the stakeholders while traveling to Chitwan, Pokhara, Kathmandu, and that allowed us to open up totally new segment of tourism which was not even thought upon before 2014. And fast forward 5 years, if I look now, last year I did did a panel discussion. I was one of the panelists in Brussels in World Conference of Accessible Tourism, and that would not have been possible had I not joined Toastmaster back in 2008.
So that's really wonderful to hear, Toastmaster Pankaj. And Toastmaster Avish, how is a finance and treasury manager in Toastmasters, a club that hones the skill of communication?
Thank you, Toastmaster Moon. That was exactly my question when I joined Lakshmi Bank. The moment I joined Lakshmi Bank, in a couple of months, I was introduced to the in-house Toastmasters club. So interestingly, that was the first Toastmasters club, inner corporate club in Nepal, and Lakshmi Bank had pioneered that concept. But I was very much surprised because till then, my knowledge about Toastmasters was that it would enable you to speak in public in a different kind of setting. But in banks, you rarely do that. But I gradually came to learn that Toastmasters is not just about public speaking or speaking to large audiences. It is also about speaking one-on-one and improving your leadership skills. That has actually proved true at Lakshmi Bank Toastmasters Club. As we have replicated the learnings of Toastmasters, whatever we have learned at the club meetings, we have replicated that into our work. We have mentored our subordinates, or we have learned how to work better in teams so that we can perform better. And we have also had those one-on-one counseling sessions where the evaluation side of Toastmasters has very much helped us.
So that's really good to know that a club in a bank is really helpful in conducting the business within the bank also. How about yourself personally? How has Toastmasters helped you in doing your business better?
Thank you again, Toastmaster Moon. Now, to answer that question, I'd like to inform the audiences that Toastmasters, again, the same thing. It's not just about communication, it's about leadership. Now, leadership at one point, for example, when I joined the bank, the technical skills that I had would make more sense because I would need to know the financial ratios, the balance sheets, or the banking side of the business. All the technical sides, many people know banking to be a very technical business. That is exactly true. That is, you need those skills at the entry level. But as you go on to lead the organization, you need a different kind of skill. You need people management skills. And people management skills is something that we learn here at Toastmasters. We learn how to interact with people, we learn how to mentor, we learn how to give our opinions. And in that process, we learn how to hone our leadership skills. So for me, Toastmasters has really helped me become a better leader, because leadership is something that we can learn. It's not something that comes when we are born, right? So we learn this skill here at Toastmasters, and that has immensely helped me.
You just reminded me that both of you are leaders in Toastmasters fraternity in Nepal.
Yeah.
Toastmaster Pankaj, you are the area director for Area A6, and Toastmaster Avish, you are the area director for Area A5. I hear there's big things coming up soon. Would you like to elaborate on what this is first?
Yes. Okay. Now, there are 25 Toastmasters clubs in Nepal at the moment, and there are different kinds of clubs. Clubs in banks, clubs in other corporates, clubs in educational institutions, community clubs, you name it. And now all meetings, so there are different kinds of professionals who attend these meetings, but the learning is the same, the networking is the same. And the event that is going to happen in December, to be precise, it's December 7 2019. The event is called Citation. This is the second edition of the division level conference that is happening in Nepal, which will be attended by over 350 different professionals from all lines of business, all activities. And it is a very good opportunity for everyone. Of course, it's a Toastmasters event which is going to be managed by Toastmasters, and most of the participants would be Toastmasters. However, it is a very good opportunity for people who are not Toastmasters to join the meeting, see how Toastmasters run meetings, to learn from leaders who have made several accomplishments in business and in Toastmasters. And yeah, there would be so many takeaways, and that is happening in Aloft at Tamil, of course. And yes, it's going to be an all-day event, which interestingly is going to, one of the highlights of that event is going to be the presence of the international president of Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmaster Deepak Menon, and many Toastmasters in Nepal are looking forward to learning from his experiences and interacting with him. So I am very much excited for this event. I hope you are too.
Yes, I definitely am. And Toastmaster Pankaj, you handled the citation last year. What is your experience? Toastmaster Avish is praising about all these good things that members and non-members will be getting from attending this citation. What is your experience? How beneficial was it for members as well as non-members last year?
Well, if I recall last year's citation 2018, that was for the first time division level conference in that magnitude or in that scale. It was really gluing factors to not only Toastmaster but everyone who attended it. We had guest speaker or keynote speaker in Dr. Rajdeep Manwani, who came all the way from India, and he also is a distinguished Toastmaster. And interestingly, he is a visually impaired person. If you ask me personally, since I've been working with people with disabilities and to open Nepal for that kind of tourism, for me it was a huge learning moment. And a person who is visually impaired, who is a Toastmaster and who has got distinguished Toastmasters award twice, and he's a motivating or motivational speaker. When he came and spoke, there was pin drop silence. People could not believe that how can a person with physical disability can still motivate people, and he was really pumped up. He really shared his takeaway or his knowledge, that how he took advantage of Toastmaster learning as a faculty. He's a teaching faculty member in one of the universities in India. And when we saw him speaking, what I personally felt that was empowering. He was living the moment. He was enjoying sharing his personal experience. And that moment I felt, and all Toastmasters who attended felt, that it is all mind game. When you make your mind strong, your physical or other disabilities or barriers can be overcome. And that was the greatest takeaway of that citation 2018. But aside from that, there was very power-packed panel discussion. There were many entertaining events. We also awarded a very eminent speaker or public speaker award to Dr. Swarnim Mogli, who is a non-Toastmaster, and that continues this year as well. Citation 2018 was a huge success. It made us realize that the Toastmasters in Nepal can come together, develop something which the entire district looked up to. And this year, since we have invited the international president, distinguished Toastmaster Deepak Menon, there's going to be even a hugely successful event, and then we are going to create a history.
That's really good to know that we had a really good eminent speaker last time, and we do have another eminent speaker this year too. If you were to sell this Citation 2019 to the guests who might want to come, so if you were to sell Citation 2019 to non-members who would like to attend as guests, how would you tell them? What are the details for it? They would want to know, I'm sure. Toastmaster Avish, would you like to share some more details?
The very first thing that I would like to say, Toastmaster Moon, is that this is a program that doesn't require selling. We have already crossed the 300 registration mark, and the event is not in November, it's in December. And these figures are very encouraging. However, having said that, I would like to encourage people who are not Toastmasters and who have never considered studying leadership or communication to take a look at what amazing potential there could be waiting for you. This is because whatever line of business we do, at one point selling ourselves or being able to influence people is a core necessity, is a core skill. And there would be people who, there are two sides of this meeting. The first side would be a competition where we would reach the apex of the club level contests. So there are so many contestants who have practiced and won speeches at club level and area level, and they would be vying for the division level award for humorous speech contest and the evaluation contest. The contest is one thing that is worth saying. In addition to that, we also have leaders, we have panel discussions, we have other speeches from eminent people, from people who have accomplished themselves in business, in communication, in other aspects, including education. So this is a very good opportunity for anyone to come experience how Toastmasters meetings are organized, because that starts in Toastmasters, the time management, the organization of roles, the event management side. So we would want to showcase a meeting that can be replicated in political parties, in organizations, in large level conferences around Nepal. So it would be a very good opportunity for all to learn and network as well.
So Toastmaster Pankaj, you have been involved with Toastmasters for quite some time, and I remember that you were involved in starting new Toastmasters also. Would you like to share some information about this?
Thank you, Toastmaster Moon. Starting new Toastmaster Club has always been very interesting experience for me, especially if I say tourism Toastmaster. As you know, 1991 the first Toastmaster Club started in Nepal, Kathmandu Toastmaster Club, and then the second Toastmaster Club came only in 2004, and then few more clubs added. But if you look back last 3 years, the Toastmaster movement has really taken a great stride. So starting a club like Tourism Toastmaster, which I am charter president, bringing people from tourism industry to start a club which is dedicated to tourism was a great experience, where we brought hoteliers, airline managers, even airline pilot, Nepal Tourism Board CEO was the charter president. So that made people think and believe that we all need this skill set. We might be very experienced in our area of technical work, but when it comes of communication, you can never learn enough. And as the saying of Seneca goes, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. I think Toastmaster gives us very element of learning by every passing day. And when we started this Tourism Toastmaster Club, it really brought people together and it allowed people to network. Today people go out and they identify themselves and help each other and create synergy in business. We don't compete, we co-opt. So that very realization that Toastmaster gives you, it's not only about public speaking, of course the leadership where you lead a team, how you give evaluation or feedback, what we practice in regular meeting can be applied in our day-to-day work. At the same time, helping new clubs come up and start has really been a great experience, because you are helping people to overcome their fear. And as we say, Toastmaster allows us to embrace fear and get into freedom. So fear to freedom. So we are helping more people to join Toastmaster movement and turn their fear into a freedom.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pankaj. Being the first area director who has opened already 3 clubs, doubling your home-based club. How has it been your experience converting this fear to freedom?
I think it has been very much easy because I have found passion and purpose here at Toastmasters. Starting from Lakshmi Bank. Now, when I am a member at Lakshmi Bank Toastmasters Club, and the organization has always supported, because the organization that I work in is very people focused, and Toastmasters was naturally something that the organization embraced openly. And with that culture, I set out to sell that very culture to other clubs. For example, when we opened SIAM Club, when we opened ACAN Toastmasters Club, which is interestingly the Association of Chartered Accountants of Nepal Toastmasters clubs. Now, there are people who are branded as experts in the industry, in finance and accounting. And these are the very people who realized that without leadership or without communication, they cannot grow, because that is the need of the hour. And that's why Association of Chartered Accountants of Nepal also agreed, or they approached us for forming a Toastmasters club. The same thing with Dhulikhel Hospital, where most of the participants are doctors. So even the most specialized of professions are choosing Toastmasters to succeed. And this isn't a skill that is required for only a person with a specific designation. It is very much open and required by all individuals in all walks of life. So opening new clubs hasn't been a difficult experience for me, because the members at the new clubs are embracing it with open arms.
Thank you once again, Toastmaster Pankaj and Toastmaster Avish, for coming here and sharing your experience of being Toastmasters, as well as how that has helped you in your businesses, in your work, and also sharing to the public how they can also join Toastmasters and begin a journey where they can travel from the fear to freedom and do much better as leaders in their work. Thank you once again. I hope to see you all at Citation 2019, scheduled to be held on December 7th at a Loft Hotel in Tamil. We are starting at 8 a.m. sharp. See you there.